12 arts. Let us continue with our lesson. Last day I have told you about the colonialization of the European powers in Indian soil. Today I am continuing with the other countries in Asia, their colonialization in other countries in Asia. But mostly this colonialization, I have already told you that at the end of the 19th century, it was only Great Britain who had maximum colonies in the continent of Asia. Now, apart from India, in the Indian subcontinent, the British had established their supremacy over the countries of Nepal, Burma, Afghanistan. Nepal with the Nepalese or the Gorkha, Nepal was actually occupied by the Gorkha people, Gorkha ruler, and they were defeated by the British army in the year 1816 and had to sign the Treaty of Sagauli, by which they had to submit many parts of present Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Leh, Ladakh, etc. So these areas were previously occupied by the Gurkhas of Nepal, but ultimately in 1816, with the signing of the Treaty of Sagauli, they had to submit the areas of Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Garhwal, Humayun, all these areas were submitted to the British authority. Then Burma which is presently known as Myanmar, this was occupied by the British by the year 1886, but in the year 1826 they had a battle with the Burmese army, and the Burmese king's army was defeated and he was forced to sign a treaty. Likewise, the British and the other European nations, they have occupied the countries of Indonesia, Malaya, Indochina, Philippines. All these areas were occupied by them. Then they proceeded towards the Far East, that means Japan, Korea, both the Koreas and China. So mostly they had occupied, they were not able to occupy in that sense all these areas of Far East, but still they had established a little bit of control, the economic control rather, over the area, the countries of the Far East. Like Japan, the American General Admiral Perry, he had reached in 1854 and signed a treaty for trade with the Japanese emperor. And in China, China was always a very good source of resource, raw materials. So the European countries, they were always striving for the control over the Chinese soil, but the Chinese emperors, they were very much unwilling to bow down in front of the foreign traders, and only the port of Canton, that was opened for the foreign trade, and that was known as the Canton trade. And the Chinese, they forced the foreigners into that area only. They were not able to, the foreigners were not able to mix up with the Chinese people, and they were forced to bow down in front of the Chinese people. Bow down means to bend over in front of the Chinese people, and which was known as the kowtowing. So kowtowing means bowing down in front of the Chinese people, which was rather humiliating for the Europeans. And then China had wars with the Great Britain, because the Great Britain had the interest in opium. Opium, the intoxicating drug, that was a very popular demand in Europe. So the British traders, they wanted to trade in opium in China, and the Chinese emperor did not support this. Ultimately, they refused to continue this opium cultivation and trade with Great Britain, and they had to fight two wars. Two opium wars were fought, and both wars were lost by Chinese emperors, and they had to sign the Treaty of Nanking in 1842, and then after the second opium war, they had to sign the Treaty of Tientsin in 1858, and they had to open many ports for the foreign trade, and free foreign judicial system had to be accommodated in the Chinese soil. So it was after the Opium War and the signing of the Treaty of Nanking and Treaty of Tientsin, the terms of the treaties were quite humiliating for the Chinese emperors or Chinese people, and the Europeans were free to trade in China. So these treaties had helped the Europeans to trade in China freely. And then Japan, though it was a very small country, it rather is a very small country, but still it had its colonial aggression towards China. And in 1895, the Japanese forced the Chinese emperors to sign the Treaty of Shimonoseki. This treaty helped Japan to occupy many places in China, and set the trade relations with China, and setting up of Japanese industries in Chinese soil. So China was very much prone to all these foreign aggression and settlement of colonies. Though the settlement of colonies was never so prominent in China, they were able to maintain their sovereignty, but still they had to face a lot of foreign aggression, and they had to face the impacts of the imperialism. And then the USA, when it was the many ports and many areas of China were open to all the European countries, then USA had a tension that they were not going to get the opportunity to trade with China, which is very rich in minerals and other raw materials for the industries. So USA proposed a policy which is known as open door, and declared that the soil of China should be free equally to all the foreign countries for trading purpose. So this is known as the open door policy in China. Now we move on to the continents of America, both the Americas. Now northern part of America is known as the New World. Why? Because it was the Italian sailor Amerigo Vespucci. He had reached the Caribbean islands in North America and had called it the New World. The term New World was first used by Amerigo Vespucci, after whose name the continent is termed as America. Now, the French sailor John Cartier, he reached the St. Lawrence Valley. St. Lawrence is a river in North America. It flows through Canada, and the French occupied that area and set up their colony in Canada. And America, the Northern America as well as the southern part of America, it attracted the European nations because of its rich minerals. Then the Europeans were eager to spread Christianity in these areas, and cheap raw materials and markets for the finished products. These were all the need for the European countries to settle down and set up the colonies in the continents of America. Now, Spain was the first European country to set up the colony in the New World. And during the 17th century, due to the during that time it was the Stuart rule in England, and they were very rigid in religious policies. And in order to escape the rigidness of religion, many English people, they had sailed out from England and settled down in north part of America. And by the 18th century, the British had established as many as 13 colonies in the north part of America. And they set up the colony over there, but they were ruled by the mother country, England. And they were all, it was not that English people had settled down there, they have set up the colonies. So the British government was giving them many facilities. No, the British government was still exploiting the colonies in the Northern America, and that is why the colonists in North America, they all revolted and demanded for their independence. And so the British colonial rule actually ended when the colonists revolted against the English government in 1776, and after 7 years they gained their independence in 1883. This is known as the American War of Independence. So now today I am going to stop over here. Next day I will proceed with the causes and impacts of the colonial expansion.